So in this video, I'm defining functions. I'm doing the first section, which is defining the domain and the range. A function is another word for equation or graph. It describes the process of taking a number and turning it into another. Think of a function machine and how a function machine works. So you have x, which is your input. You might multiply it by 2. You might add 3. And then you're going to end up with y, which is an output. So the function is the process of taking a number, any number, and then turning it into another. So 3 times 2 is 6, add 3 is 9. You always have an input and an output. Functions are written in different ways. The way that you know is y equals 2x plus 1. That's an equation. It's an equation of a straight line graph. You've seen this before. X is the input and y is the output. But you can also write it using f of x instead of y. And again, you've seen that before on your calculator when you were plotting graphs on the table mode function on your calculator. And the third way that you could write a function is this. F semicolon x and an arrow. Again, this is talking about the output. And they don't have to use the letter f. They can use g of x, h of x. They can even, instead of writing x inside the bracket, they can even use a different letter, f of a. Whatever is inside the bracket is the input. So again, I've defined it. I've said inside the bracket, I'm telling you what the input is, what you're going to substitute into your equation to get the output. And the whole of f of x is talking about the output. Some more vocabulary. So you've got the domain is now a different word for input. It's the values of x that you substitute into an equation. The range is the output, the values for y. Don't get confused that the range is the highest take away the smallest. This is the range in the context of averages, but in this topic, when it comes to functions, the range is the output. It's the values for y. If the domain, if the input is infinite, which includes all possible numbers, negatives, positives, fractions, decimals, these are known as real numbers. 0 is a real number as well. So let's have a look. The function 8 minus x has domain, has input 2, 3, and 4. Find the range. So the range is different, the output is different with every input, so we have to input each of those separately. When x is 2, I'm going to replace x with 2. I substitute 2 into the equation, 8 minus 2. The output is 6, the range is 6. When x is 3, the function is 8 minus 3, which is 5. When x is 4, I substitute it in and I get 4. So the range, the output, remember this means range, output, this means y, is 4, 5, and 6. If you do this working, that's sufficient, but this is just also writing it as a kind of conclusion. This is my answer. Again, the function, this just means the range, the output. So the function 2x squared minus 3 has a domain where x is bigger than or equal to 0 or smaller than 5. Now, you cannot possibly put in every single number because there's an infinite amount of numbers between 0 to 5. So what you would do is you would put the 0 and the 5 into your function and then give your answer as an inequality, just like the domain is given as an inequality. So when x is 0, 2 times 0 squared minus 3 gives us -3. And when x is 5, 2 times 5 squared minus 3, so 5 squared is 25, times 2 is 50, take away 3 is 47. So what goes in the middle is not x anymore, because these are values for the range, which are values for f of x. So what goes in our inequality is this. F of x is bigger than or equal to -3, but of course it is smaller than 47. It will never be 47 because 5 is not included in the domain. It will always be something less than 47. And that is your answer. You can put it in brackets, you don't have to put it in brackets, and that's okay. Find f brackets minus 2 equals 4a squared minus 1. What are they asking you to find? They are asking you to find the value of the function when x is -2. Remember, anything inside the bracket is x. Of course, they've used a different letter, but it doesn't matter. We could also say a is -2. So if the function has a, then I could have written it like this. And I said, find so I'm substituting -2, turn the input into a bracket, the letter into a bracket, and substitute in. -2 squared is 4, times 4 is 16, take away 1 is 15. That gives you the answer, and that gives you the marks. You could, as a way of concluding the question, put this. When x is -2, y is 15. This question says f of x is 2x plus 5. The function is 2x plus 5. Given that f of x is also 1, solve to find x. I'm hoping you're noticing that f of x equals 2x plus 5, f of x equals 1. That means that 2x plus 5 also equals 1. They both equal f of x. They're both the same function. So this becomes a simple equation. 2x plus 5 also equals 1. And I start to solve. Take away 5, take away 5. 2x equals -4. Divide by 2, divide by 2. So x equals -2. And you've solved to find x. And this is the last thing I want to do on this video.